yourself?
Hi, my name is Mustafa, and I am the founder and CEO of the International Organization of Youth. And also, I work with AFS as their representative to the United Nations. I consult with UNITAR. I have previously worked with UN Habitat Youth, and I'm also advisor to the uh, United Nations Youth Steering Committee at the UN Department of Global Communications.
What structural changes at the UN level would make it easier for youth representatives to move from advocacy to co-authoring or co-deciding on policy
The
documents?
structural change I think the UN needs for the having UN at the UN with having youth at the decision making table is to have a dedicated department or independent organization for the youth, just like we have UN Women, just like we have UNICEF, just like we have organization for migration. We have organization for children that's called UNICEF, and I think we need to have an independent, dedicated international organization that is dedicated to youth, not just the UN office that already exists, UN Youth Office, that's more like a bureaucracy, but not an independent international organization that is dedicated and working towards having youth involved in a lot of policy issues rather than having them on the panels and doing other stuff. That is basic structural change I think that United Nations need.
In your speech at the International Youth Day celebration at the UN, you said that partnerships are not just about donors and governments, it's about building unlikely coalitions. How do you see this philosophy shaping the way youth-led initiatives and organizations collaborate globally?
I think this is really important thing that I mentioned, and we live by this value of having the partnerships that is not just based on monetary or just for the monetary benefits. Because in these times, finances and money is not easy to come for anyone, even for the partners. So resources are something that people have, something that my organization have, other organization may not have, and something they have and I may not have. So we can collaborate on those resources to make the projects and works together. Maybe use the expertise they have, maybe use the social media power they have, maybe just using their camera to do the photography. These are the small things. And also, like for example, we do our conferences and our meetings in offices and buildings like these because and they doesn't come with the cost because it's a partnership that we have with these organizations and they provide us free conference rooms to do it. Similarly, we do the conference in Los Angeles at the University of California, and they provide us the venue at the university because we are collaborating with them and we're not asking for any financial benefits from them. Internationally, this should be the approach, and this approach always work. It's called the asset-based community development, where you are working with the partner based on the assets and resources they have and assets and resources that we have, and we combine both assets and resources from all the sides and make these things doable.
In your role as the UN representative of the AFS, what specific mechanism you seen successfully integrate youth voices into UN DGC decision making, not just consultation, but shaping actual policy outcomes?
From the youth steering committee that we were part of, that was, I think, one of the best thing that happened was the formation of the civil society youth steering committee that was supervised by the UN Department of Global Communications, and there's a system of having youth representatives, two youth representatives from each organizations, which have dedicated UN badges that they have full access to the UN. But the youth steering committee was really something that was contributing significantly into the decision making processes that was happening at the UN Department of Global Communications when it comes to the matters related to the civil society. Having their briefings, youth was leading and planning the whole briefing. Civil society conference is one of the major example where the youth was taking a charge and writing its outcome document, planning of the conference, not just on the youth part, but on the major part. So I think youth steering committee, when it was active, it was, I think, initiative of something really great that we worked on. That
AFS has a long history of fostering intercultural exchange and youth leadership. From your perspective, how can organizations like AFS bridge the gap between local youth engagement and meaningful participation in multilateral decision making at UN level?
I think AFS existed way before UN existed. It was formed in 1904 or something like that during World War One or before World War One, and then they supported during World War. And right, and if you understand how during that time period youth was engaged in a positive aspect of the World War was AFS volunteers were providing the support of medical treatment, the support of being as the driver for the ambulance at the time as we're driving people around who were injured to the hospitals and the clinics that was being made, and they AFS was engaging those people, those young people, right from the time period when the war was going on and people were dying, hundreds and thousands of people. But then the mission changed. Now there is no world war going on, and through the intercultural exchanges, intercultural program, they have uh, the first thing that's going on is the spread of the intercultural harmony, and not just harmony now, the spread of the intercultural values, that how important it is for creation of the peace, and not just on the multilateral or the UN level. Now if we talk about the UN level, we have a program called the Youth Assembly. AFS runs Youth Assembly now, and through Youth Assembly, they engage a whole lot of young people with the UN decision makers that comes at the Youth Assembly. They attend the Youth Assembly, they get a chance to meet and talk to those people, and we do a lot of conversations and training, direct training from those UN experts for the people, for the young people that are there. That is something that we are doing just with Youth Assembly. If we talk about beyond Youth Assembly, AFS is involved in doing the high level side events at High Level Political Forum, ECOSOC Youth Forum, and UN Journal Assembly, and Science, Technology, and Innovation Forum, CSW. And we continue engaging the voices of young people but through engaging with these side events, not just the side events, but then we involve member states as well into this process, and it's become a really collaborative multilateral small system that we work on. Thank you for your questions.